Welcome to the Business Book Awards Black Lives Matter author interview series. Hello, today I'm with Teresa Boughey, who is the author of Closing the Gap, 5 Steps to Creating an Inclusive Culture. And Teresa's brilliant book won an award in the 2020 Business Book Awards. So congratulations for that, Teresa. So Teresa, would you like to just tell us your background and how the book came about?
Yeah, so I'm delighted to be here. So thank you for the very warm welcome. Yeah, my background is corporate HR. So I've worked with a number of very large organizations. And then I stepped off that corporate treadmill about 12 years ago when I ventured into the world of entrepreneurship and set up my own business, and then was consulting back with some of those large organizations. And of course, at the center of all of those are people. I haven't met any organization yet, even sort of ones that are robotic, that still don't involve their people. And therefore, for me, diversity and inclusion absolutely sat at the heart of all of those things. So I looked really to create a methodology to enable organizations to create inclusive workplace culture. So there's lots and lots of research out there that, emphasizes the benefits that organizations gain from creating inclusive workplace cultures. But despite all of that, organizations and their leadership teams often didn't know where to start. They may take on or implement initiatives, but they've often failed to gain traction. They were viewed as tokenistic. And so I wanted to create a methodology that was very holistic, that enables organizations to follow a process. And so I created the TRIBE methodology. So that stands for Take Stock, Raise Awareness, Inspire and Evolve, Build for the Future, and Embed. So when organizations look at those 5 key stages, certainly through the lens of diversity and inclusion, they will transform their organization into a destination of choice for those really seeking an inclusive culture. And we have a lot more employees now clearly looking to work within an organization that is inclusive. So yeah, that's how the book sort of came to be developed. And it's packed with case studies and lots of useful tools and checklists. And I was absolutely thrilled that it received such tremendous recognition at the Business Book Awards.
So has anything particular happened as a result of the Business Book Award that you got for the book? Has that helped to get your message further into the workplace?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mission is to enable over 10,000 companies to create an inclusive workplace culture. And why 10,000 companies? Well, in the UK alone, there are over 10,000 companies that now have to submit their gender pay data on an annual basis. And whilst gender pay reporting, of course, is just one tiny metric, it is a metric that is under the spotlight. And I very, very much hope that governments do extend that scope to ethnicity reporting and disability reporting, because of course, as I say, when we have that lens, then of course organizations are under further microscopes to be able to do that. So yes, the Business Book Awards has most definitely accelerated my opportunities to be able to achieve that mission. So I've been approached to be keynote speaker at a number of conferences. I've appeared on radio. I have written articles and books, and we're just about to launch a program actually, which takes organizations through the TRIBE 5 methodology. So yeah, it's been absolutely fabulous. I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd write a book, never mind about an award-winning book. So it's brilliant. So we're well on our way to achieving that mission, and probably exceeding it actually, which is just fabulous.
Fantastic. That's brilliant, Teresa. So you and your work must have been impacted by the Black Lives Matter movement. And I mean, of course, it's been going on for a long time, but the prominence and the vehemence that it is attracting at the moment, how has that impacted on your work, and how are you taking that forward?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And as you say, it's not new, but of course, it most definitely has had a significant spotlight shining upon it more recently for the horrific events that we're seeing. And in truth, I was incredibly shocked, but equally I was challenged by some colleagues who I admire greatly, that said, actually, where's your voice? What's your view on this, and why haven't you said anything? And it kind of made me pause for a little while, because it wasn't that I didn't have a voice or an opinion, or I didn't think it was terrible. I guess I hadn't realised the privileged position that I was in terms of the platform that I do have available to me to challenge and champion organisations. Behind the scenes, of course, I was doing an awful lot. I'm on 2 all-party parliamentary groups. I'm a non-exec director in a local NHS hospital. I was reaching out and challenging various boards, but I hadn't done anything publicly. And so it really got me thinking, number one, I need to use my voice and my platform, because I guess I hadn't necessarily appreciated, I'm going to say as a woman, that I have that voice and that platform, but I do, and so I need to share that. And so we created a guide, which we have been posting out on social media, so different individual posts, but as I say, there's a total guide of 25 ways that organisations can champion racial equality, so things that they can do to really make a difference. So those are some of the things that we are doing. I'm also really, as I say, in my non-exec role, pushing things forward to see how that we can make some changes, but for me, I think it's absolutely important that we lean into these conversations, as difficult and as comfortable as they are, but actually they form part of an organisation's holistic approach to diversity and inclusion, because as I say, it's not just about tackling one issue, it's looking at it as a holistic approach, which is where the methodology that I've created, I think, is really going to come into its own for organisations.
That's fantastic. So are you finding that more organisations are coming to you now, that there's been a sort of sudden realisation, a wake-up call, and that more people are coming to you and hopefully finding you via your book as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we know that at the start of the pandemic, everything just went incredibly quiet, quite rightly, as businesses were so I'm going to say firefighting, really. And what was fascinating was the conversation around diversity completely and inclusion just completely disappeared. But it most definitely has risen to the surface. And so, yes, organisations are reaching out. They are, asking what can they do? How can they do it? I've been running a lot of executive lunch and learn sessions. So again, you have to start somewhere with an organisation. Some starting points are low. Some people have said, crikey, we haven't done anything about this before, and that's okay, but you've got to start somewhere, and this, I'm really proud to say, I think the methodology gives them a great framework to be able to move forward. So yeah, I've been doing lots of lunch and learns, all virtually, of course, in this new world that we find ourselves in. My book has been very, very well received, and I say we're just about to launch this 12-week program as well, and I've done a lot of commenting on media articles and things. So it has been really busy, but it's a really, really important topic that organisations and their leadership teams face into. Their people want to hear their voice, and when they don't, they will absolutely call into question about their authentic leadership.
So I know you've got the guide of 25 action points. If you had to choose a top 3 to give to any organisation to take action now, what would the top 3 be?
Oh, you put me on the spot now.
Oh, sorry.
There was 25. I couldn't pick 3.
Well, pick 5. Or what comes to mind?
What would they be? Okay. I think number 1, it's for me, it's about acknowledging it's there, it's real. These are lived experiences. But I think it's also about being respectful. So creating a safe place and a safe platform for employees and people within the community actually to be able to engage with you and to talk about their experience. So I think it's really important to listen, but listen, I'm going to say, to be heard, as opposed to listen to be understood. So it's not about us overlaying, you know, yes, but, or any of those things. We just have to listen. And then I think it's also about reaching out to networks, because, and this is going back to the point that said, you know, I'm a white woman, and therefore I was questioning really about what can I do. So actually we have to reach out to our Black networks because it's their lived experience, but we have to do it appropriately and sensitively. So Paul Cisse and his colleague has set up a great network which organisations can sign up to, and again, those are you know, individuals who are in senior leadership roles that are championing the conversations that people can have around Black Lives Matters and asking those questions. I also think it's important to recognise that, you know, we have to be respectful. But when our questions are with authenticity and integrity and respect, that, you know, we won't always say the right thing, and we may get things wrong. But again, if we apply those principles that says, look, I'm genuinely curious, and also asking whether somebody is willing at the moment to share, because things are very, very raw for people, and you know, it may not be the right moment for them, and of course there's a whole range of emotions. You know, there's some people who are really excited by what is going on, because this, for them, they've been waiting for lifetimes or generations actually for this movement to be there, and they are genuinely excited that it's now part of a conversation and they can see change. There are also, you know, dare I say, the other end of the spectrum, quite rightly, where people feel very, very angry and very hurt by everything, and there's no right or wrong. You know, it's just recognizing that people are in those very different spaces. So emotions are going to be raw, they're going to be real, so respecting those. So I think, to summarize all of that, because as I say, you put me on the spot, I think it's absolutely about listening. You know, we have to listen, we have to lean into those conversations, as uncomfortable as they are, but if we lean in to learn, I think that is really, really important, and know that we won't get it right, but actually our intention is pure. So, you know, we do need to understand, and then we need to take action. I think that's key as well. So I can't remember how many that is, but I hope that helps.
That's brilliant, Teresa. We with the Business Book Awards, we have championed first women writing more business books, and this year we've had an emphasis on diversity in all its multifarious forms. Do you think there's anything specific that we could do to push the whole movement forward as the Business Book Awards? I'd be interested in your view.
Yeah, it is really interesting. So, I mean, I was thrilled that the category for this year was around diversity and inclusion, because number one, I'm absolutely very, very passionate that it is the top of a leadership agenda, and I think at the moment it's clearly very evident that it is. And so I wanted my book to be recognised, which it absolutely was, for the content and for the model and the methodology, and the gifts, hopefully, that it brings organisations. And in truth, I wanted that recognition for that, as opposed to my gender. And so I guess I've got sort of really, really mixed views there. So, you know, I wanted to win and get that recognition because of the content, as opposed to any other criteria. I think in terms of moving forward, you know, part of supporting underrepresented groups is about providing a platform. It's about providing mentorship. It's about providing inspirational role models and accessibility, and all of those sort of great opportunities that are available. So I think if the Business Book Awards is able to support individuals to, you know, step into their creative shoes, to recognise they do have a voice, and in this regard it is in the written format, and how how they would do it, because, you know, I have to say, for me, you know, writing a book was a real challenge, and I valued the support network that was wrapped around me. And I'm absolutely convinced that, you know, those people that are passionate about Black Lives Matter and the movement and all of the work that they're doing, there will definitely be, you know, a book within them somewhere. So yes, if the Business Book Awards are able to support that, I think it will be really positive. But I guess my own view would be, I didn't want to win a book because it was a tokenistic category, if that makes sense. I wanted to win the book because of the content that I'd written and for those merits. So for me, there's a bit of a balance there.
That's great. Teresa, thank you very much. That's absolutely, your insights are really very important. Thank you so much for.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah. And if anybody wants a copy of the guide, they can go on to inclusion247.com and get a copy of the 25 ways there.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Teresa.
You're very welcome.